Hello everyone and welcome to the grand finale of Stranglehold on the Xbox 360. I'm one Welsh sheep yet again. And there we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the final mission of the game. The hardest mission in the game. Right from the get-go, we're bombarded by missile fire. We are bombarded by new enemy types that race after you with knives. There's enemies that race after you with guns. And now we have the ability to use a rocket launcher. The second most powerful weapon in the entire game. And the rocket launcher, I advise trying to keep the ammo as long as you can. But be careful with this because this, ladies and gentlemen, is a gauntlet. You can't actually go past these enemies and reach the end. We need to kill every single enemy in this courtyard. And once we've killed every single enemy in this courtyard, we need to kill more enemies in this courtyard. And then even more. And then even more. Basically, this mission goes on for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of it is just mindless killing of mooks, and much like my other, well, basically my main complaint with this game as a whole is the pacing. It's how things don't go on for, things are dragged out for way too long. I've already spoken about this way earlier on in the LP, but yeah, this mission is the prime example of it. First things first, we have 10 minutes, 12 minutes of killing people, and it's gonna be a bit of a challenge for me to keep relevant commentary while doing this. So I'm gonna try my best, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm not gonna promise anything. Anyway, hidden across all these courtyards are loads of cranes. You need these paper cranes because, well, they're paper cranes. Paper cranes are good. And Jesus Christ, doing a spin attack with an explosive weapon like this is not nearly as effective as I would like it to be. I really wish it was more effective than what it appears to be, but it still does the same result. It just doesn't look as flashy as I would like, I guess. But anyway, what you'll find is new enemy types in this will run towards you. They will chase you while screaming, "Ah!" It's kind of like Serious Sam, actually. You know the kamikaze goons in Serious Sam? If you haven't played Serious Sam, that's a good game. I really recommend you guys play that. I may LP that in the future actually, but I'm not sure because I'm not particularly good at that game. Unless I get people to help me LP it so I can do a co-op commentary of it or something. I don't know, I'll see. But seriously, the loads of enemies will chase after you, and the best way to really take down the goons that chase after you is to sort of dive backwards while shooting them in the head. You will need to pretty much aim at these guys in the head to kill them, because if you hit them in the chest, it does like no damage. If you hit them in the legs, it does like no damage. So hit them in the head, for the love of God, because there's no other real way to take them out effectively. And this will take you a good few attempts, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you. Now the good thing is, the goons that throw... Okay, the rocket launcher's a bit over the top. But the goons that throw knives at you, they will throw knives in a horizontal angle, which means if you're good enough at timing your dodge, you'll be able to simply dive over the knives that get thrown at you, which is very useful. As time goes on, you'll find more and more snipers and whatnot spawn in, and if we go through each of these huts that are hidden across the level, there's basically weapons and goodies hidden inside, which you've seen me already collect a couple of. And what I really advise is sort of shooting down the doors of each of these and looking inside, because hopefully then you'll be able to, well, obviously you'll find goodies, and if you can find the goodies, then hopefully good things will happen, Yes. But seriously, I tell you, it's just a lot going on here in terms of pacing. Is just, not in terms of pacing, in terms of things you have to deal with, because dodging all these bullets, honestly, I think is physically impossible. And one of the good tactics I kind of have is to lay back by here, because if you lay back at this area, the enemies will start coming for you. They'll start gunning to get you down. up until this point where like one enemy's left and it takes half a year for them to show up. But if you hide by here, the enemies will come to you. You can sort of boop in and out of cover and just keep getting headshots on them, which I recommend. And like I said, enemies will continuously spawn in as the mission goes on. Some of them will decide to hide behind the pillars, and it's really annoying when they do so, because that means you actually actively have to go up to the pillars to take them out. And sometimes you'll see people run aimlessly towards you, like this mook by here. Or was actually, he could have been going behind a pillar, but I killed him too quick. Either way, I do recommend keeping the ammo for the rocket launcher up until the end of the mission, because well, I lost the rocket launcher. Whoa, great! I think I do pick up another one. Actually, no, I don't know if I pick up another rocket launcher, but I do pick up a gun that's just as useful. But either way, you may think that using the barrage with the rocket launcher would be a good idea as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's well, it's a good idea in terms of you're shooting continuous rocket blasts, but it's not nearly as quick as you'd expect, and the explosion isn't as... Basically, the rocket launcher isn't as powerful as you'd expect a rocket launcher to be in this game, ladies and gentlemen, so it's good against, like, bosses. By bosses, I mean a boss that you can fight pretty soon, actually. But it's honestly not the greatest weapon in the game. There is another rocket launcher here. Good, good. Maybe I do use the rocket launcher against the boss. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. But if you go to the very back of the arena over there by the giant doors that you saw the main bad guy go into, essentially what's in there, well, nothing's in there, but there's actually got light machine guns over there. So you can pick them up and use them if you want. They are the most powerful weapons in the game after all, and I do recommend that. Although these mooks as well that are shooting you also use that machine gun. And the problem is with that, one thing this game I haven't really mentioned is the mooks, their strength depends on their gun mainly. And for the most part they'll have submachine guns, which aren't the most powerful things in the world, but I don't know why I shot that. I think you could shoot that down. I thought you could when I was recording this. I think I was wrong though. But basically, light machine guns are what most of these mooks use, and it's the most powerful weapon in the game, so of course they're going to do more damage to you than any other mook in the game. But anyway, like I said, there's light machine guns in the background. Yeah, there's one right below. So if you want, you can come back here and pick them up. You can either pick up, and you can pick them up off the stronger enemies that run around the area flailing at you, so there's that, I suppose. There's so much ammo and stuff in this mission, you should never run out of bullets. If you run out of bullets, you're doing something wrong in this game, ladies and gentlemen. But when we get into one of the last final couple of areas of this, we're going to start seeing these guys spawn from the doorway, which before they just sort of popped in, I think. But now they're going to spawn from the main doorway itself, which honestly kind of makes them easy pickings, because you can just slow down time and get a light machine gun and explode them, or shoot them in the face. Do the same sort of deal you've been doing this entire time in the game, you know? But seriously, they really must have... They really must be feeling pressured as if you're strangling them or something. But I really have to hold it to the developers about this. This mission's way too tricky. You know, just because it takes so long because there's so many mooks. But after you killed enough of the mooks, this will happen. I said this will happen. There we go. We need to take down a rocket launcher. Now there's two ways you can take down the rocket launcher. You can either put barrage on your light machine gun, or you can put barrage on your rocket launcher, which, like I said, isn't really powerful against multiple enemies as you would expect it to be, but it does a hell of a good job against the helicopter. Which it should. You're shooting explosive rockets at a helicopter, you know. But I still feel that the light machine gun, just because it does quite a bit of damage and is so much quicker at shooting, I think it probably... Well, it probably does about the same damage, but I find it a lot more useful because the bullets go faster. It's a lot easier to aim, you know. But destroy the helicopter enough and it will blow up, allowing us to gain entry to essentially the final boss. Yay! Of course, unfortunately now we can't go back to the courtyard. I don't know why the hell you'd want to go to that hellhole. So many people chasing after you. But the game does refill you in health and ammo here, and why did I just pick up the health? Pick up the health. Past me, pick up the health. There we go. The game does give you health and ammo here, which is good because we're on the final boss. Well, not quite the final boss. The final boss is like in a room or two away. But yeah, we're there, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the end of the game. Rejoice! Throw some confetti, you know, do some ballet. Why ballet? Okay, do some breakdancing then. I don't do whatever dance you like. We're almost done. All the joys. And honestly, this is actually a surprisingly short LP, I have to admit, but I still think the game goes on for a perfect length of time, if only with a few things drawn out, because a lot of reviewers still say this game was one of the shortest, you know, way too short for what it was, and I just don't agree with that. I think the game was like a perfect length. It's just it needed more stuff that weren't lengthened out too long, you know? It needed better pacing, basically, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. It's time to take on the final boss.
Now this is truly operatic. There you stand, wanting my death, only our flesh and blood keeping your finger from the trigger, and my heart beating a little longer.
Let her go, old man.
I wish I could, but can I? This is tragic. Families destroyed, clans and empires shaken to rubble.
Got no one to blame but yourself.
Perhaps. We can end it right here, you know. Right now.
Oh, I will.
Not like that. Like civilized beings. Like family. There's been too much blood already. I don't want yours or hers. You take her away. You and Tico leave Hong Kong forever, and all will be forgotten. And forgiven. I'll put this house in order. Sweep the blood from the streets and mend the fences. I bought my peace before. I'll do it again. But I need you gone. Forever.
Are you actually seriously asking me to make a deal with you?
For your daughter's life, I'd say you have no real choice.
Let her go. You have my word.
And you have mine. For what it's worth.
Don't! It's a trap!
Tico, get down!
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to start off the beginning of the end with the longest standoff section in the entire game. And this gets bloody ridiculous, mind, ladies and gentlemen. Because what's going to happen is these people are pretty much point blank range to you. They're going to shoot at you. You're going to need to dodge the bullets as quick as you can. You need to kill every single one of these as quick as physically possible. Because if you don't, more of them will spawn in. They'll go closer to you and closer to you. And every time they get closer to you, well, you're less likely to dodge the bullets, making it harder to kill them. So, just like that. So just keep at it, and hopefully you're good enough to kill these guys off. Like at this point, they literally get to the point that you don't even need to aim anymore. You just shoot the trigger and they die. So there's that. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to actually start off the boss fight against Wong and his big bad friend Depang? Yeah, let's call him Depang. Screw it. Big fat bodyguard dude. I don't know his name. I can't say that. But what we need to do first things first is take out all these goons. He's going to spawn in tons of goons at you. And the best sort of way to deal with these is the same way that you dealt with a lot of the enemies in the previous sequence. Simply do a back dodge and shoot them in the head. Trust me, it's the most foolproof way of taking these guys down. After enough of these guys are dead, we'll be able to go up to shooting Wong and taking him out once and for all. Now make sure at this point you have access to a heavy machine gun, because the heavy machine gun does really short work to Wong and Depang himself. Now when our cutscene initiates, it is basically our cue to simply go up to Wong and shoot him. Now he will get pot shots at you with a sniper rifle, and unlike whenever normal enemies get sniper rifle shots on you, well, his sniper rifle shots are always red, so there's no real indicator when he's about to fire, so be prepared to have to move a lot. Yeah, use the barrage attack. After a certain amount of time shooting him with a barrage attack, basically after like a quarter of his health down, he will become invulnerable and he will run away. When this happens, I guess you can shoot the Pang here, but it doesn't take as much damage to make him invulnerable, and he'll sort of run off somewhere on his own. So shoot Wong whenever you get the chance, and basically kill more mooks. And this is the boss fight. You just rinse and repeat this entire thing over and over again. Although one thing I will recommend is when you get headshots, your tequila gauge, if you see it on the bottom left of the screen, that will refill a lot, just because you're getting a load of headshots and a load of style points as a result of those headshots. So basically, after killing each mook, you should have at least one barrage available to you to use. Maybe even two. You may even be able to use the spin attack occasionally, which will also hurt the final boss. I don't recommend using the spin attack, however, even if it will hurt the final boss, because it's less effective than the barrage when you have your light machine gun, because the barrage can basically continuously fire him until he goes on to his next phase. So ignore the spin attack, just keep pressing D-pad to the right every chance you get, and wipe out Wong that way. That's all I can say about that. Now, all the enemies will usually drop weapons like the submachine guns, but every now and then you'll see an an M4 drop from them, so pick up the M4 if you need be inclined. And you can also destroy the statue in the middle of the room if you want extra cranes, but I always forget you can destroy the statue, and I never really bother because just killing the mooks gives me enough tequila energy. Like, I had no tequila bomb energy up until I started shooting these mooks, and I'm already at full. What can I say? You get more than enough enemies to kill. But whenever you do hear Wong speak, it's basically his cue, well, your cue to start shooting him, because he's going to come out of hiding again. And the light machine gun, I'm going to say one thing about it. It's a lot more accurate than the normal M4 weapon as well, so there's a very high chance you're going to kill enemies with that. If you're good enough, you'll actually be able to get a second run on him to, you know, you'll be able to shoot out 2 barrage attacks if you get enough tequila energy. Unfortunately, you will not be able to do that much. You won't be able to do enough damage to kill him quickly, because after a certain amount of damage, as I said before, he has invincibility frames. He becomes a nightmare. What can I say? But honestly, this boss fight is it does go on for much like a lot of the game, a lot longer than it needs to. You know, they could have easily caused this boss fight to have, I don't know, I think they probably should have made it a 3-phase boss fight personally. So you fight one wave, then you shoot his health down, fight another wave, shoot his health down, fight another wave, and then you shoot his health down again. But you might notice as well, because I haven't really touched on this, there's 2 health bars. The second health bar is of the second boss. Now, after a certain amount of time, I think after you get to like the 3rd or 4th phase, which is essentially the same as the first load of phases, the only difference is, well, there's no difference, it's just the phases don't really change, it just respawns new enemies. But when you get to the 3rd or 4th phase anyway, after killing these guys, Depang will jump down like so. And Depang is a lot easier than Wong is to take care of, because he fights you with dual shotguns at a very point blank range. So get the light machine gun out, initiate barrage, and what do? How do you take down this guy? Well, initiate barrage, go as close to his face as you can, and shoot him in the face. Hardest boss ever, am I right, guys? Jesus Christ. But yeah, he goes down, and what you won't expect is you don't get, well, actually you do get to fight more guys, but we can take on Wong yet again right now. So take down these goons to refill your tequila gauge energy if you need to, because you might need to after taking down Depang there. run up to the second floor, do the same thing we've been doing this entire boss fight, and we should be able to get him to his next phase. Although now that I think the Pang's dead, I think it becomes quicker and quicker each iteration until we can actually take down good old Wong, you know? In fact, yeah, he doesn't even run away anymore, he just moves from side to side, so... The closer we get to beating the boss, the quicker it is to, well, beat the boss, you know? Although he can be... I think he's just flat out invincible when he runs from side to side, so... Don't waste your ammo when he does that. And around this point is when your health may be in a bit of trouble, because you're going to get swarmed by enemies all the time. Like, enemies are going to stop spawning in waves, and they're just going to spawn continuously, I believe. No, I'm lying. They do spawn in waves. Or do they? Okay, I don't know, but the enemies spawn regardless. You need to kill them. But there we go. That's the final boss done, ladies and gentlemen. We've beat the game.
Tico. It's okay. It's over now.
I've heard a lot about you.
Good or bad?
She never stopped loving you. So, good things. All good things.
Oh my God. The paperwork is going to take a year. Here. I'm tired of carrying this thing around for you.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have completed it. Stranglehold is done. We are done this LP now, ladies and gentlemen. And final thoughts on this game. Basically, Jesus Christ, 154 million damage level. That's insane. But, what can I say? This is a fantastic, absolutely amazing game. I recommend it to anyone. The soundtrack is pretty much perfect for what it is. It's not really much in this soundtrack that's really memorable, but it does its job of being perfect for like a high-pitched action, matrixy, I'm a dodge and I'm a shoot you game, you know? And this is a sequel to a very brilliant movie, and the storyline, I have to say, I do like the storyline of this game, even though I got really confused about certain parts purely because I wasn't paying enough attention. But that's my own fault, really. The story is pretty damn good for what it is, you know? It's like a good B-movie. Yeah, just a good B-movie, really. In terms of gameplay, really fun, but really repetitive, so I can see why some people may get put off by that. Like, I've seen a load of reviews that say the gameplay is way too repetitive, but I grew up in an age where repetitive gameplay was the norm, you know? I grew up during the Mega Drive, Super Nintendo era where all the games were really unique, but the games are good at one thing, basically, and that was it. Well, for a lot of cases. There are some cases where games were really good at other things and they sort of tried to swap things out. But for the most part, I grew up in an era where games were repetitive, and that's never been really a big criticism to me. Because if I consider a game too repetitive, what I essentially mean is the game's too boring at what it does, and it needs to do what it does better, you know? But this game does what it does really well, and honestly, the gameplay's pretty damn fun. The only problem I have with it is, well, watching back the game, because the game isn't as entertaining to watch as it is to play. Trust me on that. But it's a good time, and like I said before, the pacing is probably the worst things about this game. It's one of the worst offenders, because you've got loads of sequences in this game where things go by really quickly and really smoothly, and that's when the game's at its best. But the game becomes at its worst when sequences go on for like 5 to 10 minutes too long, and it's always 5 to 10 minutes longer than you need to. Like that final boss, that should have been like half the length that it took. The final stage, there's no way that first area should have taken me 15 minutes. The first area, if this wasn't the final mission, I would have had the final boss and the final area in their own separate parts, you know. But yeah, there's loads of pacing errors. That's my major complaint with this. But the soundtrack is amazing. I love this credits theme, although this credits theme does, after a certain amount of time, does loop around, and it's kind of boring to listen to after a while. But I like the credits music, you know. But yeah, that's been Stranglehold on the Xbox 360, folks. This game is also released on the PS3 and I believe the PC, but I never got the PC version, which I kind of wish I did, because that would probably be a bit better for me in terms of frame rate and in terms of recording, because my PC is a lot more powerful than an average Xbox 360, let's just say that. But yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a part here. So thank you all for watching this LP. I really do hope you all enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed making it. Hey, LP is done now. So yay, which means now I can move on to my next LP from this point on, which will be Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the Knuckles run. And yeah, I can't wait to get into that again, because, well, I put the Sonic 3 LP off for such a long time now. It's been months, like, I think it's been about 8 months, I think, since I started the initial LP of Sonic 3, so yeah, it's well due time I finished that off. And after that, I'll be doing Freedom Planet as well, which I consider to be one of the greatest games ever made, so I can't wait for that LP. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoy. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all next time in a different LP, hopefully, if you guys were interested enough to subscribe, that is. But thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. I'll catch you all again. Bye!